Hello and welcome to the RPG Academy podcast. My name is Michael, and we're here tonight for Detention Live, our bi-weekly loose format talk show podcast sort of thing. Joining me tonight, as usual, is Chris. Chris, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
If you're not already aware, Chris is the host and GM of the Redemption podcast, a Star Wars actual play. I believe, Chris, you're the longest running Star Wars actual play. Do I have that correct?
I still say that, and I'm still waiting for somebody to prove me wrong.
All right. Well, until then, we will claim it. We will stake our flag in that, or in the sand of that. I'm gonna move on. Anyways, joining us tonight is our special guest, all the way from Paris, France, is Guillaume, a artist and tabletop role playing game designer. Guillaume, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning there. I am so sorry that you got up to see this crap show of a Twitch stream we're trying to put together. But thank you so much for joining. Please say hello and tell people a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself.
Hello. So I'm Guillaume. I'm not from Paris. I'm from Lyon. It's
Okay.
another city.
I'm an
Maybe a
ignorant
small.
American. If you said Paris, I assume, or if you said France, I assume it's Paris. My apologies.
Yes, of course. Okay. So you are in New York. Is it correct?
No, I'm
New
in
York.
I'm in
No,
Kentucky.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Back.
Um, so I'm French. My job is actor. I have my own small theater company in Lyon. I tell this because the link between theater and RPG are very important in my life. I used to play and run RPGs. I used to make workshops with young in public library to write RPG or play or something. I used to write some indie games, and I used to draw for my own games and for different indie creators, French, American, like Christopher Menel or Ray Otus, for example.
Okay.
And I really like to discover new people and new way of playing it.
All right. Well, welcome once again to the show. I am so grateful that you agreed to get up so early to be on the show. I am, again, so sorry that the streaming part is not working. So this isn't actually live tonight, but we are recording it for the YouTube as well as the audio only that will come out next week. But we're going to push on as if we were live and there's just no one was watching. I know that's hard for us to do, Chris. We're so used to having thousands and thousands of people, but we will just pretend like they're there and we're ignoring them. So
do you want I wake up my wife to have some audience?
Yeah, that'd be great. She could be the peanut gallery in the back. So we're going to start, as we always do here, with extracurricular. And this is where we just kind of talk briefly about whatever is going on in our lives, what we're up to, top of mind stuff, books we've been reading, TV shows we've been watching, movies, audio, anything whatsoever. Chris, I'll start with you tonight. Chris, what you been up to, buddy?
It's been a busy couple of weeks. Mostly prepping for my vacation.
Oh, nice.
Which we leave tomorrow for. We're going to go to an island off the Upper Peninsula here in Michigan, where we're going to go canoeing for 11 days from lake to lake and just literally unplug because there's no internet service. There's no cell phone service. It's similar to Kentucky, only further north.
Yeah.
It'll be real fun. It's something my wife and I have been planning for a couple of years with some other friends. It's the first time, I think, in probably almost 10, 12 years that we've gone camping without kids for all of us. So it's going to be a unique experience that we don't have to wrangle all the kids in the morning and get them doing things, and we can relax and do adult things, adult beverages, I mean, just relax. The other nice thing is we have no scout goals we have to achieve. Usually on trips like this, they set a mile goal. We have a mile goal of whatever we feel like for the day versus, oh my gosh, we got to do 12 miles so we can stay on task. This time, if we decide we don't want to go anywhere, we'll just stay where we are and take naps and go fishing and swimming and whatever else we decide to do. So it'll be nice.
Nice. That
I'm
sounds
excited.
amazing, but it also sounds terrifying that in the state of the world, you could literally have like a Walking Dead situation where you come back to civilization after 11 days, and the world is just gone.
That could be unique. Could be interesting.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but I do hope you enjoy your time. It does sound pretty amazing, honestly. I think I've mentioned several times I'm kind of addicted to the show Alone, which is a reality show based from the History Channel where they take 10 survival experts and drop them literally by themselves. They have to self-film with portable cameras, just sort of living off the land, and last person standing wins a lot of money. So I can't help but think that there might be some alone, which, I mean, you're with people, but still, you know, you're secluded, you're cut off from other people, and that's exciting, but also scary at the same time.
We've been prepping for it. We got enough food for the time, so that's the fun part. Well, not fun part. That's the unique part, is carrying things around when you have to move the canoe from one lake to the next.
But remember, we learned this at the faculty retreat. If you have to go into a cannibalistic situation, don't eat the fat people first. Turns out skinny people will taste better.
People.
That's what we learned at the faculty retreat. Whether that's true or not, I'm going to believe it as so for the rest of my life. Anything else from you, Chris?
Not too much. I was just really prepping for that work and just trying to relax a little bit.
All right.
We
Well,
had
fantastic.
the faculty retreat was what, 2 weeks? Not even 2 weeks ago.
The week after was the fastest week in my life. It went from Monday to Friday in a blink of an eye. I could not believe that it had gone that fast. So yeah, it's already a week and a half behind us.
That was a lot of fun.
Oh,
I
so
enjoyed
much
that.
fun.
We'll have to play some games soon.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
At least not for another 12 days anyways.
Yeah. All right. And Guillaume, I'll go to you next. So, you know, again, this can be anything that you're working on, want to share with us and strangers on the internet. What have you been up to, buddy?
I'm in holiday since yesterday. So today was my first day without working, and I can spend with my kids, because July is the most important month for our theater company. So I didn't really saw my kid during July. So I spend all my day with my kids, and with my daughter. She's 8 years old. We started to create a new RPG. She say, Dad, I want a game called Hamster Ninja visiting the haunted castle of the bad orcs.
Okay.
So we started to work on it at the beginning of the afternoon today, and I have a lot of things to draw, because I have some dragon to draw for the French translation of Epyllion, the RPG edited by Magpie Games.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and I work on the French translation. But I want to spend a lot of time now to read books, to watch serial on TV. I just begin a Korean serial called Demon Catcher. It's a group of people who try to, in Korea, they have a restaurant of noodles, but they also kill demons.
I like it.
Yes, it's I really like this serial, and I read a lot of comics, because I love comics, and there is a French one. I don't think it exists in America.
Okay.
But if someone in your show can read French, it's a very, very good French comics called Soroctone. I will give you the link. It's a story of kids in the world after the apocalypse. And it's very pulp, it's very colorful, and it's about adventure. It's about teenagers. It's about our link to our world. All objects of our world become holy relics in this world. It's very, very clever and very fun. It's a very, very good comics. There is two books for now, and the story will finish with the third one maybe next year. But I will give you the links. And the author called Erwan Surcouf is a very good guy, and he play role-playing games, so it's a very, very good guy.
Nice. Yeah, one of our regular faculty members here, Tom, is also a huge comic book reader. And in fact, tomorrow morning, we are going to be recording an episode where we're going to discuss how comic books can like influence DMing style, like what lessons we can take from comic books and apply into our games. So that will be a fun episode. I'm looking forward to recording tomorrow, which will be part of my extracurricular. Obviously, AcadeCon we are hip deep right now and getting ready for that. I've been communicating with vendors and with people doing demos and getting everything transferred from the Kickstarter into the tabletop event site. I'm still talking to the DCC, which is our venue. They are making things really difficult on me. They have changed their prices without me knowing it. They have changed their services without me knowing it. So I'm getting a little bit worried and frustrated, but I'm trying to stay positive. We're going to carry on. We're going to have the event. But the exciting news is we have decided, I guess the royal we, because it's just me, I have decided that we are going to do a companion online event. So this is the first official announcement of it. I'm going to make a big thing next week. So if you can't travel to Dayton, Ohio, November 5th, 6th, and 7th, we are going to have a simultaneous online convention that you can join and run or play games there. I have no idea how many people are going to want to participate. I'm hoping not many because everyone's going to show up. But the way things are going with the Delta variant and other issues here, there is certainly a possibility that we may not even be able to have a AcadeCon. So it makes sense to have this already built and in place, to have the structure so that if we have to, not last minute, but like late in the game, move everything over, then we've already done all that groundwork. It's also a way for us to honestly raise a little bit more money because the DCC is going to be more expensive. So badges are going to be really cheap, like $2 and $5 are going to be the dollar amounts. If you want to run games, it's $2 for a badge. If you're just there to play, it's going to be $5. Yeah. That covers anything that you can and get into and play. But if we get 30, 40, 50, 100 people sign up, that's just more money that I can throw towards the expenses. So there'll be more information about that coming as we go. But there will be an online companion convention, which some people have already asked for. So that's another reason why we're doing it as well, because people want it. And then lastly, I will say Action 12 Cinema, because if you thought you were getting through a detention without me talking about it, you were wrong. I went to a local convention here near me called Lexicon, which is a really nice, small regional convention. It's a little bit bigger than AcadeCon, but not much. I'm friendly with the people who organize it. They often throw money at our Kickstarter. I often throw support their way. I run games for them. I help promote them. So really good people. Technically I ran 4 play tests of Action 12 Cinema on Saturday. And across the board, I got nothing but positive feedback. 8 different people tried the game. All 8 said they would buy it and or back the Kickstarter if that was available right now. But the biggest piece of sort of positive reinforcement that I got is in the third play test, which was supposed to be the last one. Only two people showed up. So I played the game. Everyone had a great time. It was a ton of fun. And as we were kind of doing the recap and I'm getting their feedback and, getting their names and stuff for like the play test information, 2 other people walk over and just kind of, like, what are you doing? And I kind of start giving them just a high level pitch. And they're like, that sounds great. Can we play? And I'm like, yeah, I'll run another play test for you. And the 2 people that had just played were like, we'll play again. And so I had 4 people for the last play test, which wasn't even scheduled, and it just happened. And just the fact that those 2 people were like, without question, like, yes, I will play this again right now. They could not have given me anything like verbally or even written down that would have been more positive and affirming. And I really think I got a game. Like, I've never designed a game before. I'm still worried that at some point someone's going to say this isn't a game. These are just a bunch of words that tell us to roll dice. Uh, but despite my apprehension and my imposter syndrome, all signs point to yes, I have actually designed a game that people in fact want to play. And that makes me very, very happy and excited. So
Is
we
it
will,
the GM-less game you writing now?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Can you repeat the title?
It's called Action 12 Cinema. So it's all about bad movies, but not bad movies, the
Yeah.
good bad movies.
Yeah.
And
In French, we say nanar in French.
No, no.
It's nanar. It's the very, very bad movies. They are so bad, so they become cult or
Yes.
beautiful, poetic.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
Exactly.
definitely kind of what we're going for. Any bad action, over the top action movie where the characters are broadly defined, very shallow, just fun to watch, but just don't think about them too hard. And it only uses D12s because that's the best die. It's all GM-less, so you roll in a bunch of charts and it tells you who the bad guy is. Like, it might be like robots from the future, and they're trying to use like a weather machine to hold the world hostage. So all the stuff that you need to start the game is based on charts, or the table creates it. Like, we collectively create some NPCs, we collectively create the locations where the movie starts and ends. And then it's just mostly like improv. Like, you can literally be like, thank God you're here, Steve. I need your hand with this time machine. And then you're just trying to get everybody to be playing it all the time. So it really quickly devolves into just improv with D12s, which turns out a lot of fun.
Okay.
So
It's look like I think it's not the same design, but it's really the same spirit that my game Sonia and Conan versus the Ninjas.
yeah, Calum did a playtest, and that's the first thing he said. He goes, "There's a lot of similarities between again, not in like the bad way, but just like appreciating the similarities. That it's high improv, GM-less. You just use a bunch of prompts. I even use note cards. I think he said you do the same thing. Like, you write an NPC on a note card and you put it on the table so everybody can see them. So I hope mine gets made as well. Then we can both share these games with the world.
Yeah. When you will be ready to read mine, just send me a message and I will give you.
Oh, fantastic! That would be very sweet. I have an editor that I've hired. They're working on it right now. That's like they actually just started at the beginning of the month, going through and getting things done. So probably by the end of the month, I'll have enough of it locked in that I will feel comfortable reading another game that's sort of similar. So probably by the end of the month, I might be ready to take a look.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. All right, so let's move on. We're going to jump into our first improv game, and this is 10 Things. And so this is a game where we're going to take turns prompting one another to create a list of 10 things that match the prompt. The idea here is immediacy is more important than accuracy. So a good list of 10 things is not as good as far as the game is concerned as a fast list of just nonsensical things. If you do really well and you can marry them and come up with 10 good ones fast, even better. So Guillaume, you are the guest tonight. So would you like to go first in receiving a prompt, so you would then be given the list, or would you want to go first in giving the prompt and someone else gives the list?
Just to be sure, because once again, my English is shit. If you give me a prompt, I have to give you 10 words about this.
10 words or 10 examples. So I might say, give me 10 comic books you like to read.
Okay.
Or 10 movies, or 10 role-playing, 10 of something, and then you try to come up with 10 that fit the prompt as quickly as you can.
So I have to say 10 things very quickly.
Yes.
In English at 3 in the morning. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I love you.
Well, honestly, they could be in French if that is easier.
Yeah. French, Japanese, Polish, as you want.
Yeah,
any language.
All right. So do you want me to give you the prompt first, or do you want to give me a prompt first?
I
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
I wake up my wife.
I'm so
Sorry.
sorry.
I speak very give me a prompt. So go
All
on.
right. So yeah, so I will go with the comic book, and these can be French based or any language you want. So 10 of your favorite comic books.
Yeah. Sorokton, like I said,
One,
I really love all the Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan comics.
two,
I really love Larsenet. It's a French author. I will give you some links. Larsenet is the best comic author of the world.
okay,
It's not an American one. It's a French one. The best is a French.
okay,
Um,
three,
I really love fourth only Lapino. The story of Lapino. Lapino. It's a rabbit.
oh,
We have very strange and usual adventure in
okay,
the whole world. For example, in one comic, he died, but the comic after he come back
oh, okay.
with a T-shirt with a skull, and he just said, maybe in another dimension I could be dead, but here I'm alive. Okay, so it's alive now.
All right.
And I read five
four?
or four.
You have four
That's
now,
four.
so you have six more to
Yeah.
go.
Okay. I really love. I have to be very quick. La quête de l'oiseau du temps, the quest of the bird of time. It's okay. It's French too. Maybe
Five.
I have to Invincible from
That's
Kirkman.
so good.
Yeah, of course. But I love Kirkman. It's and I don't remember the name of the one who drew Invincibles in the it's so good drawer. I love it. A very important comic, the one I drew to seduce my wife 20 years ago.
Seven.
It's a story of X-Men with me and my wife.
Ah, nice.
In the story I was a Cyclope.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a joke in French. Clope, it's a cigarette in French.
Ah, okay.
And I smoke too much, so Cyclope, it's 6 cigarettes.
Ah, okay.
It's a very bad joke, but it works. No, she's my wife.
All right. Can't argue with results.
Yeah. Only
Three more.
3 more. I'm looking for American things, maybe.
They don't have to be real.
Yep.
It's not exactly comics, but Tom Gold. It's an English humorist who draw very, very funny things.
All right. 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more. I have to say Asterix because it's maybe the most famous French comics.
Okay. Nice.
And yes, and 1 more. Of course, Spider-Man. It's the best, one of the best superhero of all time.
Can't argue with that. And that, in fact, was a list of 10 things. Congratulations. So now you will prompt Chris and give him a list that he will have to populate of 10 things.
So, Chris, tell me 10 things which come in your mind when you think about friends.
Friends. Wow. Laughter.
1.
Playing games.
2.
Bad haircuts.
3.
Funny voices.
4.
Lots of jokes.
5.
Good stories.
6.
Bad stories.
7.
Let's see. Ups and downs.
8.
That's what friendship is. Bad clothes.
9.
And good food.
10.
Yay.
That, in fact, was a list of 10 things. All right, Chris, lay it on me, buddy.
Oh, all right. Let's go with. I think I did that one once, so we don't want to use that one. 10 of your favorite games to play.
Oh, Hanabi.
1.
Batman Love Letter.
2.
DC Deck Builder.
3.
Marvel Legendary.
4.
Splendor.
5.
Pandemic.
6,
Dungeons and Dragons,
7,
Action 12 Cinema,
8,
Savage Worlds,
9.
and Truth or Dare. Ooh. All right, did the last one. All right, thank you. Thank you for an easy one. Thank you so much. All right, so now we're going to move into used books. Again, this is normally the largest part of the show. That may not be tonight, but that's the way it usually works. And the idea here is that one of us is going to share a game that we either played in as a player or ran as a DM, GM, and it's a role-playing game. And we're going to try to mine it for some lessons learned, things that went really well that we have tried to carry forward and do again and repeat, or maybe something that didn't go so well and that we learned from and has made us a better GM since. So Guillaume, you are the guest tonight. Do you have a campaign you'd like to share with us, please?
Yeah, maybe I can share you one of the Dungeon World campaign I wrote and ran.
Okay.
Because it's, I think, a bit original in the how I wrote and imagined the campaign.
Okay.
It's a campaign about little gods. The players played little gods who are totally forgotten.
Okay.
And if they didn't find people to believe in them, they're gonna disappear.
Interesting.
Okay.
And I imagined the campaign. I start with one shot of Dungeon World, but they don't play the little gods. They play very normal character, one fighter, one wizard, one thief. I don't remember exactly. And during this one shot, they meet the gods. They open a door and enter a kind of white castle where lived 5 little gods totally forgotten. But the character they played at this moment remember them not like gods, but like mighty heroes of the past.
Okay.
It was the first time we see those characters. And after this, you have a problem?
No, go ahead.
Nope, keep going.
After this one shot, the real campaign begin, and each player choose one of the 5 little gods, and they play before the exact moment where they disappear. They are I can't. It's so hard at this time.
You're doing great.
The 5 gods, they lose each of them lose their last believer.
Okay.
So they are gonna disappear, and one of them, the clever one, have the idea, before disappear, we can go on Earth and be mortal. It's becoming mortal. Maybe it's better than vanish in the vacuum, you know. So they come on Earth like a normal person, but they keep little things of their power of gods. But it was funny things because they are little gods. And all the campaign is all these 5 people who know they were gods before, became heroes to have new believers, but no like God, but like heroes, and create their new legend and finish to have the white castle. So the one shot at the beginning, it's the final episode of the campaign, and we play it at the beginning. I'm not sure it's and when I construct the campaign, so these one shots we start by the one shot, which is the end. After we start the campaign where the little gods create their legendary legends.
Mm-hmm.
And at the middle of the campaign, the players know exactly what they want, who they are, what is the goal of the gods. So I let them decide what they want to do to finish the story. And at the end of the campaign, I stay the aim of the campaign, but the player were the scenarist of the campaign. So the player create the story and I run it for them. It was very interesting to do.
Okay.
Nice.
That sounds very interesting to me. I really like a lot of that concept. I do have some questions, but I want to start with Chris. Is there anything that you would want to touch on there?
So if I understood it right, the first game led into basically them playing a flashback of how they became the gods again.
Yeah.
Nice. That's, you could have good buy-in from the players to really get into that. The first thing that sparked my mind was, I think it was Cyric the Mad. There was a book about him in Forgotten Realms that talked about how he became a god. Then he created a book that would convince you that all the other gods didn't exist. And if they didn't exist, then they all would go away. And then he would be the only god. So it's kind of where my brain was thinking about when you were talking about how if they don't have followers, they just lose their power, which is how I've always run gods and deities in my worlds. Is the more followers they have, the more powerful they are.
Yeah.
And if they start losing followers, they start losing power. So it's this constant struggle between not just good and evil, but all of the gods. Because even the good gods have to have some back and forth, otherwise they all start vanishing.
In the campaign, there is something like this because they became famous and legendary as heroes and not as god. So the ancient gods who saw them become maybe more famous than them became jealous, and the end of the campaign, it's a struggle between them, the heroes, and the gods who didn't want that they can succeed in their quest. So it finished like all the ancient gods who try to stop them, but they can't because there is nothing to stop. They're just if they kill them, they stay heroes, and if they do nothing, they stay heroes. So it just like if you tell the story between the destiny of humans and destiny of gods, and in fact they don't have to be together. It was very interesting to play it in a fun way because we had a lot of love. The little gods are very at the beginning are very ridiculous because for example, one of them is who became a dwarf fighter was the gods of the absolute how to say that, someone who didn't have the sense of humor. So it was the god of the absence of humor.
Okay.
And so his character was very, very funny. It's like he played like a bit like a Drax in the Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Someone who's totally literal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was very fun.
Are you familiar with the books by Fred Saberhagen, the book trilogy, the Complete Book of Swords, the Lost Book of Swords, or any of those books?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe there is another title in French, but the English title don't mean.
So in this series of books, I think there's like 12 or 13 books total. The gods get together and decide they want to play a game. where they create 12 powerful swords, like the most powerful magical swords in the entire world, and then they distribute them into the world, and they just kind of like watch what chaos this brings. They kind of have their favorites, like they support this person and they hope they will raise an army and take over. And it's not really like there's a point value, but the gods are playing a game with the humans. Well, it turns out that these swords were so powerful that they can actually kill the gods themselves. And eventually that's what happens. One of the gods is killed with the sword. And that kind of brings about the downfall of all of the gods, because once people realize, wait, these gods can be killed, then they're not truly worthy of devotion. And the books continue past that, but like halfway through the books, the gods themselves pretty much just go away. They're no longer notable or powerful. And that was the first thing that hit my mind when you were talking about that. But I guess my first question from a gaming standpoint is, how much did the players know to start? Like, did you tell them, this is what's going to happen? We're going to start with a one shot, and then you're going to go back, and then you're going to play. Or did they come to this throughout the game? And how much manipulation did you need to use to make sure that you made that loop without them knowing ahead of time that's what they were doing?
It was more accident. It starts like an accident, because when I start the one shot, I didn't have the idea that it could be the start of a big campaign. And we play the one shot, and the characters of the little gods, I think they are so interesting. I want to develop. I want to play them. So I propose to the player, if you want, we can continue, but not with your actual character, but with the little gods you see. But we're gonna play how it starts. I say, why not? So I create the character like prétiré. I don't know how to say. You know, when the DM create the character, not the players.
Like an NPC, a non-player character?
Not NPC. You know, the PC, the character. Sorry,
a pre-generated character.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know how it's begin. The first part of the campaign, what kind of quest they can have when they start to be human. But I say to the players, we know how it finished, but we don't have necessary to play the story who come to the end. But of course, we did it. Mm-hmm. So it was like a big. I wanted to play this. I helped them to want it too.
Right.
And it was a lot of improvisation. I love improvisation. Mm-hmm. You know, it's my job now. It's a part of my job. So I really like when you give all the tools to your player, then they can almost play without you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And when you play like this, you finish to become the first audience of the movie they created.
Right. Yeah.
So I really love this.
So
it's really an exchange between what I propose to them, how they take this, they create new things with it, and at the middle of the campaign, they really know who is their character and what you want. So after the story and crazy, because my job as a DM is they choose what they want to play, but my job is to create new things in this, and not necessarily surprise, but okay, you want this, let me tell you what is it exactly.
Right.
You don't have exact the idea of what you are proposing to me.
Okay. So I
Makes
don't
sense.
think that you necessarily did this, but something you said made me think of that. And I just want to touch on this a little bit. Because one of the things that I like to do, not always, but on occasion, is when I play a game like Dungeons and Dragons, is I will tell my players, like, you have access to all the books, but that's not how the world actually works. Like when you walk into a town, you're not going to run into another 5th level fighter, because everyone else in the world is just a person or a thing. It could be a monster, but you are a hero. So you actually have levels and you have these abilities, and like the spells that a wizard has, that these are all the spells that you might pick. But if you don't pick a spell, it may not exist in this world because you are unique. And I don't know, like, nothing you said made me think you did that, but the idea of the way Dungeon World works, I'm not very familiar with the game, but a little bit, is I like the idea that the only reason that their characters have the abilities that a Dungeon World character has is because they are in fact these little gods, and that their ability to like, risk danger or all the different things, the moves aren't, no other character in the world could have done that. It's only because they are little gods that they have those. I don't know that you did that, but I like the idea of doing that. So if you were to do it again, do you think that might be something you would consider?
I don't know if I think to this when I play.
Okay.
My point is, of course, their characters are unique. They are heroes. They are not only the heroes of the world where they live, they are the heroes of the story we tell. So it's they are more like fantasy heroes. They are movie heroes.
Okay.
So of course, everything they do, it's important. Even little things, every skill they have, it's not only unique. It's for creating story. So even the little, there are links between the character in the rules of Dungeon World. Links are useful to help roles when you want to help someone. If you have some links, you are plus 1, plus 2, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
But all they are written, each word, it's a bit, it's a story. And my what I love to do is use everything on the character sheet, everything they said, everything that to create the story. If, for example, the link of the 5th is I have stole something to the wizard, for example, I don't want to at the beginning he say, yes, I don't want to know what is it exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to make it appear in the story. So maybe if at one point the wizard make in Dungeon World, in Apocalypse World, PBTA, when you roll under 6, it's not, it's bad things happen. Yeah. So if the wizard make 5, for example, even give him some damage or something, I can say, what do you need to do this? I need my special book, for example. Okay. And the 5th is not there. No, he stay at the camp. I'm alone. Okay. And The fifth. Can you tell me what you stole to the wizard? It's a special book.
Yeah.
Okay. So and it's fun because player can play with it after to use their links to create a story between their character, and it's not only the DM who choose there is this thing happened. They can after play with it, and I really my job in both games is to really create something on the table or where everybody wants to tell a good story.
Mhm. No, absolutely. Chris,
Cool.
anything else that came to mind you'd like to talk to Guillaume about, or try to discuss about his campaign?
I really like the idea. I like the idea of how the gods came to being who they are. That's a fun concept. I might steal it.
Yeah, I just in real life, I often like to think, what if God only exists because people believe in him, and does that even matter? Who knows?
Yeah, that's a whole nother
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I just opened.
50-hour podcast we'd have to do separately.
All right, so let's move on. Guillaume, thank you so much for sharing that idea. I do really like the concept of that. It sounds like you pulled it off brilliantly, and if your players had a good time, then you did it right, as we like to say. So we will move now into our second improv game, and that is our finger puppet game, Where Have My Fingers Been? So in this improv game, we will once again take turns prompting one another. This time, instead of coming up with a list, we will create a small scene between two, or maybe even more, if you want to get really technical like Scott and bring in extra people, up to you. I never do, where they will act out a scene. Once again, Guillaume, you are our guest, so would you like to prompt someone first and have them create the scene, or would you like one of us to prompt you first and you do your scene?
Last time I begin, so now I give you a prompt. Maybe?
Okay, so you can prompt me or Chris, whoever you want, and then that will start the circle.
First time I prompt Chris, so now I prompt you.
Okay, so I will sing the song, because you have to sing the song.
Yeah.
And then after that, you will give me the prompt of where my fingers are. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So-
It's just a word, or I can tell you.
It's a scenario. So it's like,
Okay.
your fingers are fill in the blank. Okay?
Okay.
So, where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
Okay. So your fingers are enemies, no?
Okay.
In an Asian movie of the 70s.
Okay. Now listen here, you jive turkey. I'm bringing you down. Sucker, you ain't got nothing on me. This is obviously a blaxploitation action movie. You missed. Damn, I missed too. You want to get a cheeseburger? Talk this out like adults? You know what? That actually sounds great. Let's do that. And that's where my fingers have been.
Hey.
All right. So Chris, I will prompt you, and then you will close the circle and prompt Guillaume.
right.
So
Wait.
Chris,
Wait, what? Not yet. What? Where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
your fingers have been on an 11-day camping trip. And on day 6, one of them realizes the other has forgotten all of the food.
What's for breakfast? Twigs and berries. We had that yesterday. Well, that's what I keep finding in the pack, so that's what we're gonna have. Maybe I should look in the pack. No. I got it. No, let me look. No. The pack is empty. Seriously? Well, I think I left it in Kentucky because they eat a lot there. Fine, let's go there now. And that's where my fingers have been.
Excellent. All right. So Chris, you will now prompt Guillaume, but Guillaume, you have to start with singing the song.
Yeah. Where have my finger been say where have my finger been?
Perfect.
Hey, perfect. Let's see. Your fingers are apologizing for waking up your wife.
Okay. Hey, yeah, what? I think we wake up the wife of Guillaume. No! Yes! What did she say? She said we speak too loud. We make too much noise. Too much noise! Yes! You are stupid or what? Yes, I'm stupid. I'm a left hand finger, so I'm more stupid than you. Right hand finger. Yeah, you're right. So, what did you do? Maybe we can apologize. You are not so stupid. Left hand finger. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, you are very beautiful eyes. Yeah, you know. Oh, what happened? I think I fell in love. No, we cannot. Yeah, why? Because my wife is here. What? What happened? What did he say to my husband? We have to apologize to the wife of Guillaume. We are woke up. Okay, so go. No? Yes? But we will wake up again. Yeah. So wait tomorrow. Okay. Shh. Yeah. We have to go. Yeah. People on the screen. Tomorrow morning you have to apologize too. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's where your fingers have been.
And that's where my fingers were.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you so
Mike-
much for playing our little silly games. We really appreciate it. I'm only sad that there wasn't a live audience here to watch that because that would have been great. All right, so we'll move into the last section of the show, and this is cryptozoology. And this is where we're going to talk about a monster. Sometimes it comes from D&D, doesn't have to be, but we're going to talk about a creature, a being, an NPC, something that we have maybe used in a game before, talk about like why we've used it, what we've used it for. And then Chris and I are going to try to come up with ways maybe we could use this creature or something similar in the future. So Guillaume, please share with us this creature you brought for us tonight.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about Pegasus. Pegasus, it's like a Pegasus. Pegasus is a horse with wings, but Pegasus, it's a pig with yes. And it's a friend of mine because I love to use it in my stories, especially when I play with children. And I have a story scenario I used to play with kids where a very old king, a dwarf king who live in an abandoned city, he protect a very special object. And this king don't want to die. His name is Arkim, Stronger Than Death, and he is immortal because he has to protect this very special object. And to protect this king, there is Pegasus, which is his mount, you know, and his guard. And Pegasus is a giant pig with wings, but very, very, very old. Very so when the hero come, maybe they think they find a treasure or something. They find this huge old pig with wings, and it's a very interesting creature because it's very dangerous because a very big pig can bite you, can squash you, trample you. Yeah, with his wing, he can jump and he can eat you with. If you have a bit in a group, you can eat the hobbit in one time. So it's very dangerous, but is also old and tired and maybe ill, so it's pathetic. So when the hero come, they see this pathetic animal, maybe dangerous, maybe not. What we do, we fight, we give him some food, we try to be friend with it. So it's very interesting to use it, this kind of monster, especially with kids, because it's a way to show them that fighting it's not the only solution when you have with a monster. You can do what you want, and everything is possible. You can give him food and be friend with it. You can run very fast because he's old. He can run after you. You can fight. You can do what you want. And I really like creature and enemies or NPC with a humanity, or maybe it can give you not only a problem, but give you emotion in the story. Because for me, maybe it's pretentious, but a good story, it's a story will give you emotion. Whatever emotion, it could be to be scared, to be loved, to cry, to be frightened, or to be hungry because the story is shit. But whatever emotion, it's a good story, I think.
So I'm a big fan. Again, if you have watched any of these or listened to these in the past, like my goal for cryptozoology is always to come up with a way to use the monster that doesn't involve just hitting it with a stick until it dies. Like, so that's absolutely my goal. And that's what you have just presented here, is a monster that isn't, its primary purpose isn't to just be defeated, it's to be interacted with, and allow the characters and their players to interact with it how they see fit. They may hit it with a stick until it dies, or they may do these other things. So off the top, I love it. Secondly, it's a bit of a pun by a Pigosaurus. I absolutely love that. So top marks, my friend. Off the bat, top marks. Okay, so Chris, any ideas on how you could use a Pigosaurus? Or Pegasus. Sorry, a Pegasus. Yeah. Pigosaurus is a pig dinosaur, which is also cool. But a Pegasus here is what we're dealing with.
Wow. I agree. If I was running a game for kids, that would be a fun one for kids.
I mean, I don't do voices, but I think I could, a little bit and maybe do that one.
I'm still stuck on the image of a giant pig just flattening your party in a big belly flop.
Oh, and I think it's got to have little wings, like wings that are just way too small to actually work for a creature that size, in my version at least.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a fun creature to put in there with the kids. I agree with that. I think it would also work really well in a lighthearted game. Maybe somehow that's the theme of the game, different animals or something that the party is adventuring to either collect or discover. Or if you wanted to go sometimes my direction with Shadow of the Demon Lord style, darker, maybe the Pegasus is a creature that a mad scientist has created, and it's just one of many that the party has to interact with to get through to the evil wizard, or however you want to call it. Just depends upon what flavor you want to go with. What are your thoughts?
Well, again, my mind does immediately go to a dark place, and both of you may or may not be aware that it is common, might not be the right word, but it is known that in some places that a way to get rid of a body, throw it in a pigsty, because the pigs will eat everything. Teeth, bones, there will be nothing left of this body. So if you're trying to get rid of one, that's one thing you can do. So I do kind of like the symmetry of there being this almost like pig dragons, this big pig with wings that people sacrifice people to. Very classical dragon story, but you put the Pegasus in there instead. But it has gotten so old and ancient that maybe it just doesn't have the desire anymore. So that is, it's like a sickness or a malaise that has come on it, and the players are there maybe to like try to convince it that life is still worth living. So you have almost like a therapy session with the Pegasaurus of like trying to convince them that no, you need to go out and eat more people. Like, that's what you're here for, you're here to eat people. And I don't know why, but that just makes me laugh just to think that that's the goal of this interaction, is to convince the dangerous beast to go out and be dangerous. I don't yet know why that would be helpful. Maybe they're trying to get something in the Pegasus's lair, and they need the Pegasus to leave and go like rummage this, the landscape or the village below, so they have time to sneak in and get what they need. So that might be kind of fun. But I also have this just weird thought of like multiple Pegasus that like everyone rides, like more like a true Pegasus, that they just take place to place. But at the end of the game, they're eating bacon. And it's just like the Pegasus had one last gift to give the world. I don't know why, but I also think that's quite fun.
That went dark.
You can maybe use it in the legendary way. What is the mount of dwarf Valkyrie?
Okay, yes.
I maybe you find a Valkyrie without mount, and you have to help her to find a Pegasus. It could be a quest to find one, catch him, maybe apprivoiser, make it. He's a wild animal, and you have to make it to
Tame it.
Yeah, because the Valkyrie have to mount it. It could be a funny quest.
So what wasn't in the mythology that only a virgin could ride the Pegasus? Like wasn't there some connection to like being pure?
A virgin or a vegan?
Well, that's what I say. Maybe the Pegasus it's a vegan. Only vegans can capture a Pegasus because they have not touched the meat to their lips or something. So that could be a fun little sort of subversion on the true mythology. Pigs are supposed to be really smart. Like certainly, at least certain types of pigs are supposedly smarter than dogs. Like that, people keep them as pets. So maybe you could do something with how highly intelligent the Pegasus is, that you have to entreat with it at a higher level. You can't just like throw a rope around its neck. You've got to like convince it that you need its assistance. Maybe beat it at a game of chess. Like that could be like a puzzle in the game, as your player has to actually like outplay it or something. That could be fun. But I think probably best lean into the lightheartedness of it is just to have a big pot-bellied pig with tiny wings taking the characters from place to place, and then just doing a funny voice would probably be worth its weight in gold for an encounter with kids. So that alone is probably just, I don't know that you need to add anything. I think you just need to drop Pegasus into your game, and I think you've got a good session. Chris, I thought you were trying to hold your finger up.
I had a kind of a different thought. What if their goal is to protect the Pegasus? Pigs do a lot of rooting around. What if they have to, rut their nose in the ground to help the farmers have successful crops, and the party has to protect a few of the Pegasus from maybe a griffin or something that likes to eat them? Come up with whatever their natural enemy is.
Right. I mean, again, you got truffle pigs. So maybe in this fantasy world, these pigs find like treasure or gold or gems. And you got like this prized Pegasus, and it's, again, the dragon or the hippogriff or whatever comes to attack it. And so it's the Pegasus is doing its thing, completely oblivious to the fact that it's in danger, and the heroes just have to protect it. That could be fun.
You said truffle, and I just pictured a pig doing the truffle shuffle.
Excellent. Well, this has been great. There will be a Pegasus in a game I run soon, because I run games for my boys. They're 10 and 11 right now. So whatever game we play next is definitely going to have a Pegasus in it. So for nothing else, thank you for that, sir. So we don't have a live audience tonight, so we get to skip the Q&A. So we will just kind of go into wrap up. So Guillaume, if people want to find you, support you on the internet, find the games that you have written, where can they go? How can they interact with you?
My games are the PDF are on itch.io, itch.io. I have most all my games are in French. So if you read French, you can read every game. Most of them are translated in English, and some of them are translated in Japanese.
Okay.
And Sonia and Conan versus the Ninja, including this extension, Cowboy and Aliens. It's a Western vintage sci-fi extension. Or in book, you can buy it on Lulu. Lulu. It's print on demand. It's something like this.
Yeah, I've purchased a White Hack off of Lulu.
Yeah. And my drawing are on my website. I create a website. It's very bordel. It's a mess. But you can see all my drawings, and I am on Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter. Right. I will send you the links. During when you spoke about because I quickly draw it.
Oh, nice.
So I will scan the drawing and I send you by Twitter. I can send you image, I think.
Yeah,
you did that in what, 2 minutes? That would have taken me 2 years to draw that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would have been mostly tracing.
I cheating. I became this drawing 20 years ago. And I just put the name.
Yes, nice.
Fair. It would have taken me 20 years to get there anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Guillaume, again, thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast talking with you. I know you said you had a little bit of worry about your English. It was fine. I don't think it caused any problems whatsoever. And again, I think you still spoke better than I do normally. So thank you. My apologies to your wife. So please do apologize for me for keeping her up this late. But Chris, where can people find you on the internet if they want to talk to you?
Twitter is easiest, Burlew_Chris. Otherwise, find me on the Redemption podcast or sometimes on this show.
Yeah, on occasion, but not next time, because I think, well, you might actually be back.
I'll be back.
It's 14 days, math.
Yep.
And again, of course, I'm Michael at the RPG Academy. Everything I do can be found there, except for Farm to Fable, which is my Smallville Rewatch Fancast. We just started our season 3 release, actually yesterday. So weekly, as long as I can keep up, we'll be releasing those throughout all of season 3. Calum convinced me that I need to do a newsletter. So I'm currently accepting signups for a Action 12 Cinema newsletter as well as an AcadeCon newsletter. Both of those will be linked in the show notes along with everything we've talked about from Guillaume as well as Redemption. So if you would like to get updates on Action 12 Cinema and its development and the initial Kickstarter release whenever that happens, you can do so by clicking that, and same thing with AcadeCon. And then all of our Twitters and all that stuff will be on there as well. So thank you both for joining me tonight. I had an absolute blast, and hopefully those listening did as well. And we'll go check out your work, Guillaume, maybe get you some additional copies sold of your game. I do very much look forward to reading it once I have sort of locked in Action 12 Cinema and seeing how maybe we've come up with similar concepts, but how we executed them hopefully differently. I'm hoping we didn't create the same game, though that would be kind of fun too. But I'm assuming there will be some differences. But with that, we will say good night. And until next time, remember, folks, if you're having fun. Yeah.
And Chris, happy holidays.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy your vacation. I hope you survive it.
I will.
All right. Thank you. And
thank you very much.